Hari Om. Hari Om. Hari Om. Hello, my friends. We all are looking for truth. We all are looking for peace. Whether people know it or not, everybody is looking for that. Looking for that sense of completion, of being fulfilled. And then the different religions, they offer different ways, different expressions of truth. And it becomes for so many times an intellectual game. One is right, the other is wrong. Everybody is looking for the same thing. That which we deep down feel is our birthright. That which is driving everybody, whether they are spiritually minded or not. That yearning to come home, to be safe, to be at peace. That so many different ways to approach that have been devised. And they are all okay if they are being used to really connect with that essential reality. If it becomes just a new conditioning, a new set of beliefs that instead of helping people to relax and let go and be free, enclose them again in a new cage, then the purpose is not fulfilled. But if, no matter what teaching, if it helps to connect with the essence, then that teaching is good for that person at that time. There is no need for any competition. There is no need for rivalry. There's no need for fighting with each other. I'm right, you are wrong. I know the truth because my scripture says like this. All the people around the world are divine beings that project themselves, an aspect of themselves, into this time space in order to gain experience. And somehow it has happened that the forgetfulness comes, that we have forgotten what we are, we have forgotten where we came from. And then that struggle starts, longing to come home, longing to be aware of what is our birthright, what is our true nature. Unfortunately, when we grow up in the world, we are being taught, oh, you need so many things in order to be happy. You need this, you need that in order to be fulfilled. And everybody falls in the trap and runs after things that are very nice often, but nothing is really doing the job because we don't need anything from outside. It's all here, it's all now. We can amass as much of wealth as we want. It never is going to bring that peace. We can go for all the glitter in the world. Just being restless and unfulfilled and more restless and frustrated. There's nothing wrong with playing with all this. We are here, so somehow or other, the life has to manifest. There's nothing wrong with getting the goodies of this world if one can get them easily, if we don't have to pray away from others. But that longing that is there in everybody to be happy, to be fulfilled, to be at peace, to feel safe, cannot be found anywhere else but in the essence. And if the religion helps to connect with that, then that religion is good and is the right one for that person, and for another one, not necessarily the right one because it wouldn't do that. There is no need of fighting, there is no need of competing with each other. We are all that same essence. Somehow or other, we just have to learn to catch the attention in all the activities that it is in what it is absorbed all the time and bring it back to that which makes the experience possible, the essence here now. We cannot even say we don't know it. If we bring the attention to the present, that most familiar sense of presence is there. When we say I, we're touching that most familiar sense of presence. Then we build up all these stories around the I. I'm like this, I'm like that. I was born then, I grew up like this, I have learned that. But prior to all that, there is something that is so pristine, so pure, so untouched by everything. And it's always present. Just come back home to that. That's what we are looking for. It's not at the end of a long journey. It's not gained by any business. It's not gained by any practice. It is. It is now. It is what it is. All the practices, they are very useful for what? To see how we are preventing us from being naturally rooted in that, and then learn to not do that anymore. The practices, they are all to remove the obstacles, to become aware of what already is. It's not that we are gaining enlightenment by practice. You are that enlightenment. What a funny way to spend our life, always running after things and missing that what we are looking for that is already here. And right now, there is such a tension all over, there's such a pressure in the atmosphere that it's so easy to slip completely in that forgetfulness and be totally identified with one belief or another belief, with one political idea or another political idea. Being angry and frustrated about other people, how, what they are doing, forgetting to connect, forgetting that they are also people who are looking for truth, looking for peace, for safety, and also have forgotten it, and then formed by the propaganda, conditioned by the way we grew up, completely identifying with some stories and creating bad ideas and bad feelings, bad emotions towards other people, people from other religions, people from other countries, people from other ethnic groups. What nonsense is all this? We are all the same divine being. We just have to turn the attention back home to that sense of presence that is always there prior to everything else. No matter whether we live in the north or the south, or the east or the west, or on whatever continent, whatever color the skin, it is the same essential divinity that is expressing itself. Each time in a unique way, in a unique form. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's beautiful. It could be wonderful, beautiful, if it was harmonious. And we somehow have been persuaded not to go for that harmony, but to go for disharmony, and we can let that go. Each one of us has every moment the possibility to let that go and not play along with those forces who create chaos, who create troubles. Nobody can do that for us. We can listen to teachings, we can pray to God, we can live with a guru, we can get all that inspiration and support, but then that's the deal in this world. It's everyone's own responsibility. It's everyone's own possibility to either get completely lost in the story, struggling on and on and on, but then start to turn the attention back home and be here, now. Aware that this world is just an appearance, momentary. And even if the appearance is disharmonious and destructive in many places, in many ways, it's just an appearance, momentarily. And if we learn to turn the attention back to that which makes the experience possible, then we are not affected by it. We still are aware of it, but not affected, but remain free, unconcerned, unattached. It's here, now, that we find that fulfillment, not anywhere else. It's here now that we are touching reality, not anywhere else. We can find it in a book, we cannot find it in scriptures, we cannot find it in a religion. They may help us, they may inspire us, they may direct the attention in the right direction, but we can find that only here now, in the timelessness of the present, in our own true being. And even if the devotee prays to God and learns to feel that presence, that is the presence of our own divinity, the presence of our own true being. It's so important right now to remember that. There is such an intensity manifest, there are so many pulls that want to trick the mind to slither into negativity and eventually into destruction. But we don't have to give way to that. No matter what the circumstances, everybody has every moment the possibility to turn in the right direction. How much then we are successful to really dive into it, right to the center, right to the essence of it or not, that is not something we can decide. But we can decide to connect with divinity, not to be a victim of the circumstances, not to be a victim of what people think about us, but be free here now, self-sufficient, complete, and totally safe. Nothing can hurt it. However much evil destructive forces try to do so, to hurt the essence, they cannot possibly win in that. That which is prior cannot be hurt or destroyed. I've been talking about this for years and years, and I keep on repeating it because this is the essence, this is what matters. All else is decoration. There are all these wonderful practices, the wonderful experiences one can have, but this is the essence of it. And if our wonderful experiences and our wonderful practices help us to connect better, then they are wonderful. But basically, it is really not difficult. Just come home. Be in the present, here now, timelessly now. Mm. It's good to remember. It's good to repeat it to ourselves. It's good to remind ourselves this is what we are here for. This is the essence. This is really what matters. Careers may come and go. Name and fame may come and go. But what you really are is not giving way to any of that. Just be. Just be conscious. Just be consciously conscious. Consciously alive. Okay, my friends, I stop talking just away like this. I'm asking you, is there anyone who would like to come and say something? You're welcome. Hello, Maria.
Hello, Hari on Werner.
Carry on.
Um, what you've been talking about is the answer, I understand, to everything. But the question is, yeah, how to make the next step sometimes is the question is about forgiveness for me. Is the topic is forgiveness.
Yeah.
Or I was thinking this morning, let go would be the same thing because what I've noticed lately, and it's interesting that it has happened at the same time as all these war conflicts have escalated. I suppose that there is a connection with that. The theme of forgiveness has come up very strong for me
Mhm.
personally. And it's interesting because it's always the same people. In this case, it's not, is more in the friendships, in the circle of friends.
Mhm.
And it's small things, it's not big things that have happened, you know. I thought this morning is interesting because some of the big things that have happened where I felt hurt and so on, it's gone.
Yeah.
But these have been situations where like four or five people have I've reflected on what has happened, and it's either I felt ignored, very ignored in a group situation, or clearly rejected. I mean, the responding to a question or something like that really badly, or the other one was challenged. And when I've been doing meditation and doing introspection in this, what has become clear for me is that is the pride. Fundamentally, pride is the hurt comes there.
Yes.
um, and but there are circumstances where I work on the issue, and the other person, I notice that they work on the issue as well, and somehow it gets resolved. You know, there is goodwill in both sides, so it just goes at one point. But in this, with this group now that I'm having, that these four or five people, it's just not going.
Mhm.
You know, I don't sense from them a willingness to
Mhm.
soften.
Yeah.
And when I see them, I just, whether it's online, whether it's personally, I just feel a lot of tension. And I'm really willing to, I want to work on this, I want to let that one go because, yeah, I do. Yeah. And whatever you can, yeah, advice you can give on this, very grateful.
Right. I gather from how we are talking, you will continue to see those people. It's not that you just go around them.
Yeah,
Yes. Sometimes it's helpful that we talk to people, but many times there is no use. It just makes it worse because people make more barriers.
yeah, yeah,
So it's how we are feeling, how we are experiencing is totally our own job.
yeah.
Yep.
This is the case. In this case, there is no, I don't see any point on talking. It's about myself.
Yes, yes. So when when you become aware are these hurt feelings or these frustrated feelings come up again, and then directing at one person or the whole group, uh, these kind of reactions come, then watch it what it is doing, but watch it how it is forming. And as you have already said, pride is a big factor. And what is pride? Pride is simply that we are taking ourselves to be that role, identify with that role that we are playing, and take it very serious and very important.
Yeah, yeah,
Then a good reminder helps that, hey, this is just a role that I'm playing. I'm not that role. And like in a theater, when an actor is playing a role and has confrontations, there are not really feelings of confrontations because they are aware they are just playing a role. So become more aware this is not what you are. This is a role that you are playing, and some people are coming into that game harmoniously, and some people come not harmoniously. And if I expect them to be different, to be in such a way that we can be together in harmony, then I'm always getting frustrated when they are not. So what we can bring is our own harmony that will influence them, and it will not hurt you if you learn to make peace with the situation in yourself, that you can, first step is to accept right now it is as it is. As much as I would think it should be different, it's
yeah,
still.
Yeah.
We think it should be different, it should be different. Why are they like this? But then, if we accept somehow or other, they are as they are. They have been formed with their own conditioning, with their own upbringing, and with their own uh, influences from wherever it comes. And so they don't see that they are creating a disharmony. And then, if you accept it, it's already taking away a good part of the sting. It's only if I always think they shouldn't be like this, they should be different, that then there comes the continuously the frustration when it is not the case. But if that frustration comes, then you let it come. You'll see again, okay, they are as they are, but I'm doing this to myself. I'm hurting myself by holding on to inner reactions, creating more disharmony, and there I can work on it. Can see the whole story, can feel what it is doing to my experience, even if I'm not in direct contact with them. When the thoughts come, when the emotions come, see how it is creating tension in the psychophysical manifestation and learn to relax, learn to let go, learn to not take it so serious. But the relaxation thing is the main factor that we see the tensions we are producing and then learn to relax. And then gradually they go away. And then if you meet them, if you talk with them in the group or individually, then you bring already totally a different attitude, not with the expectation, hopefully this time it's going better, hopefully, but just, okay, may come what comes. But whatever happens, I need not get pushed into that stance of defending myself, fighting for my ideas, or not even in my head, but just accept, okay, this is how it is. And then it's quite a good challenge then to go into such situations of which often they are not harmonious with the intention not to convince the others that they are better, but with the intention I'm now observative and I'm looking what kind of reactions that I'm having, and I learn to let it go as it comes up, and then I'm free of it.
You know, as you speak, the what comes up is my vulnerability
Yeah,
when I am around people who react the way these people have reacted.
yeah,
It's like, I suppose it's like my, I mean, in psychology they talk about the inner child, you know, the is that part of myself that, yeah, doesn't feel safe somehow, doesn't feel strong, and then when somebody reacts in an angry manner or unkind, or is like, wow, oof, that hurt, you know, that, yeah,
yes, of course, it's not pleasant. But then, if you don't resist against the unpleasantness of it, then it doesn't really hurt. It doesn't necessarily become pleasant because of this, but it stops hurting.
yeah, 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 yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But the more you are capable, then not to be upset about it, to accept it basically, the more you bring something in that gradually may influence them in such a way that it becomes more harmonious.
Mm, yeah,
It may. It's no guarantee,
yeah,
but
yes,
definitely it's the best that we can offer in order to improve the situation.
yes. And I definitely can see that it has already happened in other circumstances. When I am really centered, it doesn't happen.
Right.
But that centeredness is like divine grace, because
Yes.
sometimes it's there, sometimes it's not there. I mean, I'm more optimistic because now because I can feel it. What you are talking about, the center, the breathe, the relax, all that. I've already mentioned to you before that it has already happened in some very significant relationships where I was all over the place most of the time. And now, when that state of centeredness comes, it's like, wow, they can say whatever and it doesn't matter, you
Yeah.
know? Um, so, in a way, it's like, yeah, keep working on this. Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's the good direction.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Werner. I so much appreciate your advice
You're most
and the
welcome.
transmission. Also, the transmission that comes with your words is very powerful. Thank you.
You're welcome. Hari Om.
Hari Om. Hari Om.
Hari Om. Is there anybody else who would like to come in?
Hi, Werner.
Hello, Ravi.
Um, so I'm just trying to gather my question. Um, so with the chronic fatigue syndrome, the illness that I've had for the last 8 years, um, I've mostly been stuck at home for the last 8 years. I haven't really been able to go out much out of the house with the family or anything like that. And I guess from being stuck in the house, it kind of creates there's an energy where it feels a bit like energetically, physically, a bit like a trap. I want to get out of it into nature, etc. Um, the thing about chronic fatigue syndrome is that you've only got a certain amount of energy in a day, and if you use that up, it can often you don't sleep at night, or it can take you a few days for that energy to come back. Um, and I know that the journey, like to getting better, is to keep connecting, but also the other side of it is that you really need to be finally sticking to a routine. And I do have a routine. Like I know the ultimate routine is, waking up, meditating. It's kind of very much delineated. It's like a timetable where my whole day is kind of set out. And if I deliberate from that routine, which probably happens more so in the afternoon, like I might go on the computer rather than taking the rest I need. It's more about taking the rest that you need and balancing it out with activity. And then slowly the healing happens when you stop using the energy that you moving beyond the energy that you have that day, then you stop crashing and then you can start replacing it with slowly building up exercise and building up stamina, etc.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of clear on the healing path. Where I stray a lot is like I can stick to a lot of the routine throughout the day, but then there's points where I don't. I'll go to bed too late or do too much in the afternoon when I'm tired. And then if my sleep goes out, which often happens, then I need to be even more strict with the routine. But it means that I'm stuck in the house and then the emotions start coming up. There's a lot of rebelliousness in me about sticking to the routine, about I don't I'm I'm not sticking to the routine enough and it's having an impact on my health. Um, and then part of me just thinks, well, today I was thinking, just remember that you can just don't focus on that you're not getting better, focus that you can get better and focus on where you want to be. Like sometimes just imagining how it is you want to feel and stuff like that, just to remind you and just to keep me on the path. And then just remind myself, oh, if I stick to if I take a rest now instead of go on the computer, I'm actually making myself get better
Yeah.
rather than putting my health back a few days. Bottom line is, how do I actually, I've been sabotaging myself a lot a lot
Yeah.
with sticking to routine, and I don't know what to do.
Be vigilant and watch where you are sabotaging yourself. And if you watch that honestly, if you see repeating it over and over, you get so fed up that you start to do it differently, not to do the same sabotaging again. But first, we have to really be aware that we are really doing it, not simply accept it as a possibility, as a theory, but becoming aware by watching what we are doing, watching the thoughts, watching the emotions, by then becoming aware, oh, here, I'm making a knot, creating a block that prevents me from being whole, that prevents me from being complete. And even if part of the mind doesn't want to give up and thinks, it's my right, I have the right for this and that, then uh, when we see something is hurting us again and again, then we learn to step a step back and not being swept along by the habit all the time. How are we going to do that? How are we getting the motivation? The more we watch ourselves, the more we become aware everything is engineered to somehow try to make us better, try to bring us home, try to make us whole. Simply we are corrupting it then in our mind, and instead of it manifesting and expressing itself in its purity, we create all kinds of troubles. But as long as we don't know it, we cannot do something about it. But if we are observative, watching, then we become more aware. Yes, I created that sense of bondage and I recreate it and recreate it and think about it and hold on to it and make it into a reality, but I need not continue like this. For that, we have to first be observative and become aware what is really going on this level in this world. And with becoming aware, there gradually the motivation develops also to sincerely go beyond it. Not more to want to hang on to our little things that we think, oh, if I let it go, I'm losing something, but actually it's the opposite. They are preventing us from just letting really go and be natural.
And I guess what you're saying, I know, but it's after it happens at the time. So are you kind of just saying that when the thought comes up, oh, I don't want to go to sleep, or when the thought comes up, oh, just take a moment out and just watch a little bit of screen time. It's really, that's the point where you go, where you dis where you see the thought and disidentify and then see disidentify the thought and see whether, or to see the thought and see that you've got a choice where it's taking you, that you need to be very alert in that moment. Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying that we should work on it to be alert more and more all the time and become aware how much we are doing it, how much we are repeating it, how much we are sabotaging ourselves from just being at ease and peace, and then learn not to do that anymore. But in order to come to that step of learning not to do that anymore, first we have to be aware of it, observe it, and then be honest about it and see, I'm doing this to myself. And I need not continue. In a way, the moment is there when we really start to get fed up fed up with doing that same thing, hurting ourselves, sabotaging ourselves, preventing ourselves from really letting go and be what we are.
Okay. I'll re-listen back to what you're saying.
That's sure. It's not that there is some special magic trick. It's simply, if we want to be free, we have to be serious about it, sincere about it, not all tense about it. We can also be playful about it, but sincere. That, no, I've had it. I don't want to keep on sabotaging myself. I don't want to keep on hurting myself. I want to be rid of it. Let it go and open the heart for the essence, for the truth, and not hold on to silly little things. It's like like Maria just said before, often it's not the big, huge things. The big, huge things, they are easily discernible. We, when we start to become more aware, then the big, huge things come up and we can learn to deal with them and maybe neutralize them. But there are all the little insignificant events, day in and day out, in our way of reacting. And if you are becoming more observative and become aware what we really are doing, we become aware that with little repetitions, we keep on keeping our cage in place instead of stopping that. It's often just the little things, day-to-day things that come along, and we are not taking them important enough to observe, and then just the reactions go on and on and on. And in that way, we are having the tendency to cementing things the way they are instead of slowly make them more transparent, that they can go, that they can stop hurt us. Mhm.
Mm, yeah. Ah, yeah. And I think I've talked about similar things in the past. When the thought, when the awareness comes in, uh, okay, I'm going to leave it at that for that conversation. Werner,
Okay.
that was really helpful. I've got one more question.
Yes.
In the past, you've talked about evil forces,
Yes.
and are you talking, like, I know there are different forces. There's like human forces in the world, people who are, run governments and are dictators and wielding lots of power, and there are lots of different
Hmm.
capital, big companies, people who are just thinking about their money and their big companies and not the effect it might have on the people, the environment. So there's that level.
Hmm.
But it seems to me sometimes you're talking about other forces at work, which we can't see, beings that we can't see. Can you expand a little bit more on what you mean by evil forces?
Evil forces are also beings who are basically essentially the same divinity, but somehow or other they started to separate their experience from what they are, separate their experience from the love that unites everything, and adamantly hold on to that, turning away from love. And then after that, something is terribly missing because it's an aspect of our beingness. It's an aspect of our essence of reality, that love, that awareness, that everything is connection. And that uh, brings, when one is aware of that love, that brings such a sense of joyousness and fulfillment. And when people, or not people manifest only, but when beings turn away from that essence, then this is missing. There is a big hole there. That sense of fulfillment is not there, and then they try to somehow fill it up by yielding power and taking others under control and controlling more. It never works. It can never fulfill that thirst. But that's, and the more then those beings go into that, the more they become powerful in it, then the more destruction then they can create. And they can be on different levels, subtle levels, but then people who are incarnated, if they themselves also function like this, they open up to that and they get influenced from those evil forces that come from a subtler level. And more they just become instruments of those beings that hardly anything human is left many times in them because they are so disconnected from their essence that they cannot feel the love, that they cannot feel this, the connection of all living beings. And so on this human level, they do the same thing. They try to fill it up by controlling others, by getting more power, by getting more control. It's always a frustration because it will never fulfill them. And for that reason, it's never enough. It's not that they struggle and then they are in a certain position and then think, ah, that's nice, that's enough. But it's always more and more.
Mm. And I think you've said before that when we're in negative spaces, the beings feed off that energy more, and it's easier to go in a spiral. And the opposite, when we connect, we're getting all that positive support as well from
Right.
beings.
We're having every moment that possibility to open up for the negative or for the positive. And we are surrounded with beings that are interested in what we are doing because they can get quite a kick out of what we are doing. This human manifestation is quite powerful. This combination of consciousness with a physical body and the energy that it is producing and yielding is quite powerful. So subtler beings, they are interested in what we are doing. And if we are getting into negativity, into despair, into destructive feelings, then there is a certain type of beings attracted. They get quite a kick out of it. They suck us dry, suck our energy out. They may push their own energy in it for a moment in order to make us even more destructive and more negative so that can harvest more. But nothing comes back from that, from them. There is just one is getting depleted. While if you're connecting with truth, with harmony, with love, there's totally a different type of forces attracted. And these forces, they also get a kick out of what is happening in our body, in our manifestation. But at the same time, there comes such a love back from them that both sides, they are continuously benefiting from it. It's a win-win situation, while the other one, you just lose it.
Okay. Thank
So
you, Werner.
it's worth the trouble not to let ourselves slither into negativity. But since that negativity has been for a very long time very much in control of a lot of things in this world, now it feels like uh, to go into negativity is like it's easy. It's like going downhill, and to open up to positive, to, to that which counts, that which is true, is like uphill work. But eventually, the whole atmosphere will change, and then it will become easy to connect with harmony, with love. But right now, it's worth the trouble to be vigilant of not to get sucked into negativity. And it can be very terrible negative feelings and negative acts, but it's also here again, all the little things accumulating the whole day long. A moment we are opening up to negative, but then we catch ourselves, we open up to something more large and harmonious, but it's one can be very, very often negative just in little things without having an idea, without being aware of it. And in that opening up to that negativity, to feel then after that full of self-pity and getting into a depressive mode and getting, well, the poor victim that always, that is always having to suffer. There we are inviting those forces to that make it worse. And
This
if
is a
we
crazy, sorry, go.
and if we remind ourselves, but this is not what I am. I'm essentially a divine being, and I open my heart in that direction, then the loss of energy that if it accumulates becomes more destructive than anything else, that stops, and our living conscious energy that we have at our disposal from moment to moment in this game starts to increase and starts to purify. And then along with it, that sense of not being happy, not being fulfilled gets less and less.
Thank you so much, Werner.
You're welcome. Wish you well.
Carry
Hari
on.
Om.
Thank you.
Hari
Carry
Om.
on.
It comes always to ourselves. We can try to make the world responsible. We can try to make our past responsible. We can try to make our parents responsible. We can try to make the society responsible, the way we brought up, the way we have been conditioning. But every moment we can turn to the essence and make the experience more expansive, or we can turn to that identification with the separation that creates invariably negativity. We may not always be successful. We cannot control that. We don't have the freedom of controlling the effects of our attempts. But we have every moment the possibility to consciously turn to the light or the darkness, to consciously turn towards that essential divinity, or just thoughtlessly keep on identification with that sense of being separate, which opens the door to all kinds of troubles all the time. That possibility is never absent, and the responsibility lies with everyone's own self. We can get a lot of inspiration. We can get a lot of support. We can get a lot of guidance. But then everybody has to walk the path step by step. So that emerging all the time, let's learn to be vigilant. let's have a good, honest look at ourselves, and not just once in a while, but whenever we remember. A good, honest look what's going on in our mind, what kind of emotions we are holding on to, and then learn to detach and let go. We don't have to get terrified when we become aware, oh, what kind of negative emotions I'm again busy with. We just have to become aware that it's there, observe it, and then they are losing their power. And this possibility to at least attempt to be alert, to at least attempt to be in harmony, to at least attempt to connect with the essence, that possibility is there every moment. And it's up to us, up to each and everyone, that we yield that possibility, that we yield that power, that we do what is needed to connect, to consciously connect. Because unconsciously we have done so much to disconnect. There's no point in blaming ourselves. There is no point in blaming somebody else. Things have happened the way they happened. We came into this world, and this world is as it is. And we were brought up in a certain way that has favored very much that we unconsciously learn to disconnect from the essence. That we learn to live in disharmony, that we learn to be egocentric, that everything should turn around me, I, me. And this has become so strong that it's simply there. But it's our possibility, it's our responsibility once we become aware of that, that how we are dealing with it. Are we then just feeling victims and say, that's how I am, that's what it is, I cannot do anything about it? Or that we say, okay, it's understandable in the circumstances that things have gone so much off the, off the straight line, off the harmonious way. It's understandable from the circumstances, but it need not continue like that. Here, now, I can turn the attention back here now. I can be what I am and learn to relax in it and learn to let go of all those tensions that build up. That possibility is there. And if even if you are not successful, the more we consciously make use of that possibility, the more we will remember to be alert. And the more we remember to be alert, the more we will see what's really happening, and we learn to detach, not to get sucked into it, not to be a helpless victim of it, but simply observing if it's still manifesting, observing what it is doing energetically, physically, what it is doing emotionally, intellectually, but then let it go. Not hold on to it, even if the habit is strong. You're always ready in the mind to find excuses. Excuses are simply postponements. If I excuse, it's because of this, it's because of that, then I'm losing the momentum, the motivation to overcome it, overcome that which prevents me from being natural. Okay, I'm asking you again. Is there anyone who would like to come in and say something?
Hi, Werner, again.
Hello, Ravi. There you are again. Yeah.
Um, I know this sounds like a crazy question, but bringing back what you said to me, your advice to me before about being vigilant and being alert, when I get to a point where I know I should be lying down in bed and resting, it's often during the middle of the day, and part of me just wants to push a little bit more and not do that. What is what do I tell myself?
What do you tell yourself? Well, you tell yourself to choose that which you know in your heart is the better thing to do. Sometimes it may be justified that you are not giving way immediately to just go and lay down again. But often, even if the mind is not too thrilled doing that again, actually, if I'm doing that, that helps me more on all the levels. And you can learn lying down and be alert and meditate lying in your bed.
That's all I needed to hear. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Carry on.
Hurry on, hurry on. Anybody else who would like to come?
Hi, Werner.
Hello, Kristen. Back in Denmark, huh?
Denmark.
Yes.
Yeah, I was lucky to come with, I think, the last flight that left Doha
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Saturday morning.
I see, I see.
I'm so happy I didn't get stuck there.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not really a question, but it's so nice to talk with you about things that come up. So, as you know, yoga practice has been like my anchor for 40 years.
Yes.
And usually when I'm in Tiru, the afternoon is one highlight. I go to the rooftop and I have a nice little practice there. It didn't happen this year at all.
Yeah.
Not one.
Yeah.
And now I'm in Denmark. And what happened the last few years, I used to train yoga teachers, but I stopped 3 years ago. And then some of my older students, they have kind of asked me, please do it one more time. So finally, I agreed to do it one more time because of 3 older students. And now it turns out they cannot make it. But now I have 10 other students for yoga teacher training that is starting in March.
Yeah.
And it's like, maybe the interest comes back, but it's like I'm not interested in yoga asanas anymore. And the training is about yoga asanas. Of course, it's also about yoga on a broader, the spiritual aspect of yoga. But it's just a little strange. I feel the universe is bringing me to a quite kind of little bit awkward and special situation. That now, after 3 years break, I'm doing this. Then the students who wanted it, they disappeared. 10 other came. I'm going to do it for them, but I feel totally like I have no idea what I'm going to do. And yeah. Also, because I've always been teaching from my own practice. It's like I'm in the practice myself, then it's coming out of me. Of course, I have a practice now, but it's not about asanas.
Yeah.
But the program is about asanas. Also, yes.
So far, you have been, when teaching, doing the asanas always yourself also.
You mean in the class?
Yeah.
No,
No.
but it's because I have had a kind of daily asana practice. I'm had the fundament in the asanas,
Yeah.
which I feel it's like it's gone. I can still enjoy it, but there's no pull towards it anymore.
But you still can teach it.
I hope so.
Yes. You have been doing that for such a long time.
Yeah.
Even if you are not practicing all those asanas daily anymore, you can still teach them.
I hope so.
Yes.
It feels a bit awkward.
You need not feel awkward about it. It's something that you honestly have practiced for a long time and you know about them. So you can also transmit that knowledge even if you are not more actively practicing all the asanas yourself. But if you, of course, if you start out being very insecure, what can I do? What can I give them? Then that is also handicapping it. But if you go with that confidence, yes, after all, I'm not trying to put myself on a pedestal. I'm just transmitting something that I know because I have been practicing for such a long time that you can still teach them whether you are practicing in private by yourself the same thing or not, as you have been practicing for long enough that connection is there and you can tap into that connection whenever you want. But since you are not more doing so much asanas and your priorities have a bit shifted, then you can also bring more of that aspect into it, along with the asanas. Make the people aware that yoga is not just alternative gymnastic, but to learn to move with the body consciously can be a very good help for people to learn to open up, to connect with the essence. That is what yoga is basically for. Yes. So, since you are going to teach yoga asanas and teach teachers, make teachers out of them, you say you train teachers.
Yeah.
Yes. So then, of course, you cannot avoid to teach the asana and to teach them how to teach the asana. But since this is not more your priority, you can maybe benefit from that you can bring more of that essential yoga that you are more connected now with into the Hatha yoga practice.
Mm. Yeah, I guess that's also what they're coming for, because that's what they feel in my normal classes. Yeah.
I've had the good luck to be introduced in yoga with a very nice teacher who really taught the yoga in such a way that it was clear it was not just some kind of other sport or so, but
Mm.
it was a meditation in itself, just to practice yoga.
Yeah.
People can practice yoga in whatever which way they want, but I felt very happy there, and now when I look back, I feel very grateful that I connected with that type of yoga. It has been helpful throughout my journey.
Mm.
So you can teach asanas and at the same time always connect in such a way that you transmit also that yoga is not simply physical postures, but it's a way of becoming more self-aware.
Mm. Yeah. What when you talk, what appears to me is that it has always been like that, but maybe I have been hiding it a little bit. I've been a little bit shy about that aspect, but it does kind of evaporate out of my teaching anyway. So maybe maybe the universe is bringing me to this step in this weird way with the 3 people who disappeared and then 10 other came, to be a little more explicit about that aspect. I have a shyness about it, I can feel. I mean, it's very obvious also from the feedback I get from people who come to my classes that that aspect is there, but it's in a kind of not very explicit way. Do you understand what I mean?
Yes, yes,
Yeah. Yeah.
right.
Mm.
And so since the situation is as it is, you can just drop the shyness and not think you have to do now something very different, and but let it naturally flow into it
Mm.
and need not hold yourself back.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you. Mm. I can feel that give me some confidence.
very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
Mm. Thank you.
You're welcome. Hari Om. Hari
Adios.
Om. Would anybody else like to come in? Okay, then let's again today just spend a few minutes being connected with each other in this group, connected with the essence, connected with life, with consciousness, with love, with energy. If you are sitting down, it's helpful if you sit somewhat straight. We don't have to be stiff, but it's a bit easier, the energy flow, when the body is straight. And then just relax. Relax physically. Be ye here. If worrying thoughts of the past or the future want to come in, let them come, see them, let them go. Don't get interested. All natural and relaxed. Let the breath flow in and out. All natural and relaxed. No need of worrying. Am I doing it right? Am I doing it wrong? If the attention wanders away, memories come that want to pull the attention away from being here. As soon as we remember, as soon as we become aware of it, just let them go. Not fighting with them, not suppressing them. Just let them go. And redirect the attention to the immediate, direct experience of being alive, of being conscious, being in the timelessness of the now. The world is a magic show. changing all the time. Here now is solid, timeless, immovable. Nothing can hurt it. From home, back home to that sense of presence. It is always here. When we after that go out and are active, you're still always connected with that base, with that peace, with that awareness of being connected. And we can bring it into our activities when we are alone and when we are with people. We can find our own way that helps us to reconnect immediately. Just breathe consciously, and you're right back home. Everyone can find their own way, something that helps to immediately reconnect when the attention wanders off. Then more and more that meditation is integrated in all the activities. The whole life becomes a meditation. We can go about it playfully, not taking this momentary appearance so serious. Welcoming what comes, letting go what goes, and be at peace. And go about it playfully, joyously. So I wish you all well. Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om.